Hey everyone, I'm Addie Reinhard, winner of 5 Across February.
All right, so we just wrapped up the very first 5 Across event of 2021, so February 5 Across, and it was an all-virtual event by necessity, thanks to our good friend that's staying too long, COVID. But we had a really awesome night, and I think nearly a record crowd of over 200 attendees that were tuned in. A couple of classes from universities, but a couple of really great pitches tonight. So 5 really worthy presenters, and so the winner tonight was a company called MentorVet with founder Addie Reinhard at the helm. And so we got a hold of Addie post-event to do a little podcast episode because we knew that our listeners would probably want to hear some of the thoughts in the mind of the winner of the very first event. So Addie, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
I guess let's start with this. I mean, first of all, what made you apply to pitch at 5 Across to begin with?
Well, actually, Keith, it was you.
Shameless plug if I've ever heard one.
So we spoke a couple months ago, I believe, and you encouraged me to apply to pitch tonight. And I thought about it for a while because I'm pretty busy. I'm wrapping up my master's degree. I actually am submitting my final draft of my thesis this week to my advisor. So that's happening on Friday. So it was a crazy busy week. So I didn't know if I was going to have enough time to sufficiently put towards preparing for this thing. But you emailed me in early February and I was like, oh, this would be really good experience for me to pitch my idea to a non-veterinary audience. So I really just took advantage of that opportunity. And it was a really great experience.
That's great. Yeah. So shameless plug. I really want the credit for you applying to pitch because that makes me look great. So you hinted at it. For those of our listeners of the podcast who were not able to attend or watch the recap video of 5 Across, would you tell them what MentorVet is or maybe why MentorVet is?
Yeah. So I'm a veterinarian. So I've been practicing now I've been out of school for about 6 years now. And in my first few years of practice, I personally experienced some issues with burnout. And I noticed a lot of my other classmates experiencing similar issues. And when I started reading the literature in veterinary medicine, I was noticing that there was really a big issue with poor well-being in the veterinary profession, especially within young veterinarians. So I kind of took it upon myself as wanted to do something to help other veterinarians go through similar transitions. So I actually applied to do a master's program at the University of Kentucky in Community and Leadership Development because it would allow me to pursue this program and create this thing as a full-time gig because I knew if I was working, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm really excited about what it's become and where it's going in the future as well.
Again, to Keith's point, super exciting. We're glad that you pitched. Something I want to ask, again, we want this to be more of a post-game, essentially hey, imagine a team just won a big title in NCAA or something that we're, talking with the coach afterwards. But were you expecting to win coming out tonight? You mentioned that you almost didn't pitch initially, but after you pitched, were you like, I got this one?
It felt good. I felt like I had, pretty well kind of nailed my pitch. There was a couple mistakes in there that I don't think people would have noticed unless they had heard me practicing my pitch 50 times. But I felt good about it, and I feel good about my idea and what I have developed so far and the data that I've gathered. My main hesitation that I wasn't sure that the judges would be more critical about the lack of details about maybe the revenue model or things like that, because I knew that was, kind of a large percentage of the score. And I think I only had 2 slides in there. So I wasn't really sure. I mean, I definitely have, some momentum going, but I didn't know if that was going to discount me. And I was also terrified of what questions they were going to ask me. But I felt really good with what they did ask me. And I was very comfortable with all of their questions. And so after the question period, that's when I really took a big deep breath. And I was like, okay, I think I got this. I felt pretty good about it.
Sweet. Well, the good thing is for you, we did not have our scariest judge of all time, Michael Hartman, on tonight. So you can count yourself lucky.
Yeah. Addie, just to inform you, we have a judge that is consistently voted by the audience the scariest judge, and his name is Michael Hartman. He's the CEO of Frog Dice, a company here in town. And count yourself lucky that he took the night off, I guess. So here's what I want to know. Now that the event is behind you, but hopefully some of the excitement is still ahead of you, maybe like 200 people now know more about MentorVet and want to support you, and you've got a check for $500 and a chance to compete for $5,000. What's the best part of the experience at this point?
Yeah, I think it's just that experience of pitching. I've pitched in front of corporations. I've pitched in front of organizational partners. But like I said, most of these people know what veterinarians do on the day-to-day. And they're very, very more attuned to what the daily life of a vet looks like. And I think that's something that people don't necessarily know, because right, you see a veterinarian working, you see them, super happy playing with your puppy, or seeing you, but what you don't see is like the hard parts often. And so I think that was kind of like a big challenge for me, and I think just trying to figure out how I could pitch to an audience that maybe didn't know anything about what I did on a day-to-day. I think that was probably the hardest part for me preparing.
And that's the scary thing too, that we often hear people say. But again, the cool thing is we often view Five Across essentially like a pitch competition, but also a pep rally. And so we're helping people get on a platform to share, to pitch what they're really passionate about. And we want people to encourage them. Like, being an entrepreneur is a really scary thing. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a tech startup or something where you're going to be focused on vets, or like even tonight we saw two companies focus on the veterinarian field. And so it is cool to see that we have a support system for entrepreneurs. And I think that's something that we can never take for granted, because we are so blessed by our community.
So $500. You're allowed to spend it on anything you want.
Keith, you gotta say it more emphatically.
500 smackaroos. You're allowed to spend it on whatever you want, whether it's part of the business or if it's not part of the business. What's it going towards?
So this is going to be really exciting, you guys. I met with a lawyer this morning. So this money will be going to my legal fees. So I'm negotiating some contracts right now with Merck Animal Health, and just to continue expanding my program. So my money will be going towards legal fees, as well as trademarking my name, which is not trademarked right now. So it's in the works. It's coming.
Very good. Yeah, not the most exciting answer, but did you get a chance to meet with Sam Razor?
I did. Sam is wonderful. And he's actually a very good connection, because he's very interested in my program and, what it can offer for veterinarians. And so he knows, and he's very aware and close with a lot of the veterinarians that he works with. And he's also identified and recognized this as an issue. And so when we had a great conversation, we actually had a couple follow-up conversations about, what my program is and how we could potentially even work together in the future. So yeah, that was a great connection. And another awesome thing that came out of this experience was just getting connected with other entrepreneurs that maybe I wouldn't have reached out to otherwise. It kind of, forced me to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. But yeah, he was great. He gave me some good advice on my pitch and my presentation that were spot on and exactly what the judges were looking for. So I do thank him so much, and credit this win somewhat to him, of course, because he definitely helped me prepare for this pitch for sure.
Yeah. So for our listeners, Addie was lucky enough to be paired with a very appropriate pitch coach prior to the event, Sam Razor, the founder of Hippo Manager, which is creating software for veterinarian practices. So very, very appropriate combination there.
Well, Addie, that's going to be it from us. Last thing I would love for you to give, well, actually two things. One, just a piece of advice for people who are entrepreneurs, or maybe they're trying to dip their toe in the water. And secondly, some wisdom that you can apply to future Five Across companies that are going to pitch and then also maybe apply themselves?
Yes. So my first piece of advice is don't let setbacks get you down, and you just kind of have to get through those moments. So funny story tonight, 5 minutes before I was going to pitch, I hear my dog, sounds like she's attacking something downstairs, like very, very loud. So I run downstairs, right? And my husband's at the bottom of the stairs and his face is bleeding. And I'm like, what's happening? He's like, oh, the dog just bit me. Like it was an accident. Like I was like cleaning her paw and I hurt her. And so she nipped my face. So literally like my husband's like blood dripping down his face. Right. And I'm like, I have to pitch now. And so I'm like, little fact about me, I'm not great with people blood. Like I'm cool with like, animal blood, but like human blood is just kind of disgusting and gross, and any human bodily fluids, no, pretty gross. So I sat down. It was like while we were doing the transition to like my pitch, and I was just sitting there and I was like, okay, just breathe, like, just a little setback, just breathe through it. I did a couple deep breaths and then I did my pitch and it went well. And so I guess that's just my big advice, is that there's going to be a lot of little setbacks along the way, whether they be little or big. And a good entrepreneur can just keep going despite those little setbacks. As far as wisdom goes for future people doing 5 across, I think just practice and prepare, and practice your presentation in front of people as well. It's definitely a totally different experience practicing by yourself as it is when you have a live audience. So definitely getting those practice moments in can be really helpful when you're about to pitch. So
how can people connect with you?
So you can email me. So it's Addie Reinhard, ADDIE-REINHARD @gmail.com, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn.
Addie, thanks again so much. And Keith, right as we jump off, will you let us know when the next 5 across pitch competition will be?
Happily, yes. So the next 5 across pitch competition will be Wednesday, May 26th at Whitaker Bank Ballpark. In person, outdoors, socially distanced, super safe. And if you still don't feel safe, we will also broadcast it live. So all the reasons to be there. Addie, thank you again for your time and congratulations.
Thank you so much.